Hello everyone, my name is Brynjar Amundsen and I will be your Norwegian language teacher today. Today we're going to talk about something that's very important, which is the adjectives. Specifically, the adjectives in Norwegian, the grammar behind them and how to do this. Right, so we'll go over the grammatical rules and what to focus on and let's get started. So when it comes to the adjectives, you have to think about what they are there for. They are there to describe different things. So of course, when you have people that don't really know what an adjective is, what is really an adjective, this is all words used to describe different things, right? Ett fint hus, an expensive car, a dyr bil, billig bil, right? A dyrt hus, and how they are formed. There's a lot of them and there's some specific rules to when it comes to using them. So here it's important that we separate this. So you have the ubestemt, right, the non-specific part use of the adjectives, and you have the bestemt, right, the specific part of the adjectives. And just gotta keep these two things separately. You have ubestemt, bestemt. This is where a lot of people go wrong here is when they combine the two. Right, when they start mixing these two, then it gets very difficult. Just keep these two separately. We'll start off with ubestemt first, and we'll go from there. Yes, so first off, when you have the ubestemt, non-specific, right? How do you know a word is this, right? It is when you have the article en, I or ett in front of it, right? Non-specific thing. A car, en bil, ett hus, right? Mange steder for the plural, right? So when you got that, very straightforward. Let's take a normal adjective. For example, you got the adjective for big, stor, right? So where you have the en, stor bil, see there, do nothing, keep it in front. Focusing on the article, if it has the article en in front of it, it means it's masculine. You do not change anything with the adjective, just straight. If it is feminine, for example, ei bok, right? Also don't do anything. Keep it as is, stays. Ei stor bok, that's it, don't change anything. But, for example, should you have neutral? Right, here it gets interesting. For example, ett hus. This is neutral. There you will add a T to the adjective. Ett stort hus. Now here you are adding a T on the consonant of R, right? Stor. So feel a little bit unnatural doing it at first. You'll get used to it after a while. Ett stort hus. That's it. Let's say you have, for example, plural, right? Then you will put in the E for it. There's a couple of exceptions to these rules, but this will go through the base forms first. Should you have plural, let's say biler, right? Mange biler, plural form. Here you would just go with store. You will add an E to it. That's it. So we have this is the main pattern of adjectives. For example, fin and fin bil, ett fint hus, adding a T, and then for example in plural, fine böcker, fine steder, or dyre bilar, expensive, right? You add an E to it. That's it. This is the ubestemt. This is your main pattern. Now, there is a couple of exceptions to this. You have, for example, should you have the ending of ig or isk ending of the adjective, very important. Ig or isk. This happens a lot. For example, the adjective of vanlig, right? Or vanskelig. Here have the ig ending, praktisk. They do not get the T for neutral. So you have, for example, ett vanlig problem. Neutral, ett problem, ett vanlig problem. Or let's say you have a practical house, ett praktisk hus. Don't add the T. just with the ending of ig and isk, no t for neutral. However, should you have plural, add the e, right? For example, praktiske løsninger. Plural, simple, right? So if you have then the masculine, feminine of that, vanlig, and vanlig plus, right? Do nothing. And then for the feminine, also nothing. Just for the neutral, that's it. A lot of people learn this and then they apply this rule to a lot of the other adjectives. Don't do that. Only the ending ig and isk, no t for neutral. Alright, that is one. There's of course a couple more rules here, but these are the most important grammatical rules that will help you when it comes to using this correctly. Now, the other rule goes for plural. Should you have the following endings of the adjectives being, let's say, en, right? Or er or el, right? For example, this happens to quite many. You have open, en, right? Vacker, er, sikker, er ending there too. Gammel, el ending, enkel, el ending. These two endings, right? You have them, they flip in plural. And you have two letters there, one goes away, so it shrinks a little too. Let's say you have, for example, gammel, right? And gammelby, right? And then for plural, gamlebyer. And åpen butikk, åpne butikker. Take the ending, flip. That's what you do. Or for example, en sikker plass, right? Normal, sikre plasser. They flip. That's the most important rule. Those are just those two rules when there's no t for neutral with the igisk, and for the plural rule. Now, should you have the adjective gammel, right? With the el ending, where you know something's going on. If it's neutral, singular, add a t as per usual. Et gammelt hus. Or for example, et sultent barn gets a t there as well. That's it. Of course, it's only the ig and isk ending, no t for neutral. Of course, there are a couple of exceptions to this, but very rare. For example, you have gammeldags adjective, never changes, moderne, never changes, or spännande also doesn't change, but you can always find a couple of exceptions to the rule, but follow these rules and you will be good. Well, 99% of the time you will be alright. Now, let's talk about the other form, the bestemt form, and how to use it. Okay, the specific things. Okay, now it gets a little tricky. So, what you're going to do, right? You have the nouns now in bestemt. Earlier it was en bil, et hus. Now it's bilen, huset, or bökene, right? With the endings of them. You have, for example, the specific thing, vikar, bilen. So, what happens here is that when the adjective is in front, this is important, when the adjective is in front of the noun, you will steal the plural from this side. Yep. And you will add den, de, or di in front of it. That's it. So, for example, en bil, bilen, alright. Den nye bilen. Det nye, right? That's the plural of ny with an e, right? Det nye huset. Or let's say you got the big house, simple. You know, right? The ending et hus, huset for the house, the specific there. Okay. The plural of stor is store. Alright. That's it. And is neutral, so we'll use the det, det store huset. Done. Or let's say, oh, the old house. See, now it gets fun, right? Gammel, gamle, det gamle huset. See? That's it. That's it. And then for, let's say you have the bestemt plural form, right? You will use the D in front. So you can see that from the ending very easily, right? Bilen, de, nya, bilen, you'll have D. And then same. You just steal the plural. I use the word steal because that's what you do, you just take it. Some people have a hard time using this because they're thinking, well, it's not plural, det, ni, huset, but you just do that. You'll get into the habit of it. You just need practice and practice and practice, and this will come to you, right? Just need practice of it. For example, there's tons of adjectives which end in ig and isk and el, en, and er endings, right? So we just, instead of trying to do all of them individually, following the pattern, using the grammar makes this much easier, right? And remember, don't mix the two, try to keep them separate, right? So learn one and the other. Right, and et for the ubestemt, the non-specific, and then you have the bestemt, the specific things. Keep that where you just take the plural, right, and then add den, det, or de in front of that. That's it. De flotte fjordene I Norge, right? Just add that. De bratte bakkene I Tromsø, right? Okay, now. The last thing about adjectives is something called predicative. When this is, of course, when the adjective is not in front but is behind, right? Bilen stor, right? It's not in front, it's behind. For example, you have huset nytt. Right? See, there comes a T in. What's going on? This is when the adjective is behind, like so. It follows the ubestemt pattern. Right? That's it. When it's behind, sometimes the adjective is a little bit stretched out at the end of the sentence. Can be a little bit hard, but like for example, problemene på jobben I dag var vanskelige. Right, so here you gotta just put that, always think with the adjective, what are you describing? What is this adjective describing? For example, if you have vanskelig, what was vanskelig? Yes, like problemen, or in the ending, that was plural, vanskelig, yeah. Right, or huset mitt stort. Right here I gotta think, what's big, and yes, huset, that has the neutral ending, okay, right, so it needs a T to it, that's it, that's gold, but should it be in front, then it's different, okay, and that's pretty much it. There's a couple of more rules to this, of course, but like for example, if you have a double consonant, then one goes away in neutral, but this doesn't, people don't really walk around thinking too much about this, kind of just passive learning in a sense when it comes to the adjective. Yes, that's pretty much everything, and thank you for watching. I hope this really helps you understand and how to use the adjectives, and yeah, thank you.